Joining us right now is Eli Lake, columnist at Bloomberg View. He's got a whole brand new gig there.
What?
That's cool.
That's new. That's different.
That is. Eli, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks so much for having me.
So we had this horrible terror attack in a synagogue in Jerusalem early in the morning Tuesday, and almost immediately people were blaming Hamas, which of course is funded by Iran. Meanwhile, John Kerry is now going to sit down with Iran and try to work out some sort of deal over their nuclear move toward nuclear weapons. Is that a wise thing, or is this a good moment for the U.S. to say enough of this?
Well, my understanding is that the initial blame was on the PFLP, which is not Hamas, but we can say that Hamas, out of the gate, their reaction was, these are wonderful martyrs and heroes, and we praise their actions.
Celebratory.
So, and that's almost as bad. The idea, there's the Israeli officials are now calling this grassroots terrorism. That's from Joshua Mitnick of the Wall Street Journal, but I've heard it from Israeli officials as well. It's kind of acts of just sheer brutality. It's really anti-Semitic pogroms that are inspired by a kind of, a fever that is being stoked also by Mahmoud Abbas, Abu Mazen, the so-called moderate leader of the Palestinians, who, on the one hand, is, urging all of the faithful, all Muslims, to protect the Temple Mount, which is also the home of a great mosque that's important to many Muslims, but also, of course, the remnants of the Second Temple, which is the holiest place for Jews. So it gets to this question of, are there any legitimate Jewish rights to the city of Jerusalem, and particularly the Temple Mount? And the position of Yasser Arafat before he died, and the position apparently of Abu Mazen, Mahmoud Abbas' successor, not Hamas, has been, no, there are no legitimate Jewish rights to Jerusalem. There are no legitimate Jewish rights, and it has manifested itself most recently with a kind of paranoid propaganda, total fear-mongering campaign on the part of, again, the Palestinian Authority, not Hamas, regarding the Temple Mount, that in this particular case has appeared to have had the effect, and this is not the first time we've seen such homegrown terrorism, of driving Palestinians to commit mass murder, which is absolutely horrifying.
All right. In this country, though, the president responded. He said some words, and I observed that he said them with about as much passion as one might expect from someone reading off a grocery list. Did we need a stronger condemnation of this act? It's
not the condemnation. I think what he said, would have been in line with what any president would.
Eli, we're starting to lose you. Can you repeat that? And
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
There, that's better. Repeat what you said.
Okay. I think the president would have said anything that, I think Obama, the words themselves were not the problem. The problem is that this White House has not criticized Mahmoud Abbas for months, as he has done everything from trying to form a unity government with Hamas, which we know where they are, to stoking these paranoid fantasies about the Temple Mount. And while it's true that Mahmoud Abbas has quietly, in a way that's somewhat deceptive and given his rhetoric to his own population, cooperated with the Israeli Defense Forces in the West Bank, it's also true that he has become a major source of incitement, and there is not a single word of criticism from President Obama, the White House, or really almost anyone in the administration, except for occasionally you will get stuff from the State Department. John Kerry's statement was actually much stronger. So the problem is the context that led up to this. And I think that there was a sense that there was nothing that Abu Mazen felt that he could do that would ever earn any kind of condemnation or harsh words from Barack Obama. And again, even his statement, he did not call out Abu Mazen by name. He didn't say that you have created this kind of environment. And the Israelis are flabbergasted because they're being treated the exact opposite way. They are being, the chicken-esque comments from a couple weeks ago. That was, in the Jeffrey Goldberg column, that's clearly from very top White House people. So, the reaction is, it's very one-sided if you look at it in that context.
Yeah. Turning now, Eli Lake, to one of the other Mideast messes that we see ourselves mired in, and that is the airstrike campaign against ISIS. The bombing's been going on for a couple of months now. Is there any suggestion that they have had an impact on containing or eliminating ISIS?
Allow me to zag while I know a lot of people in this town are zigging. Yes, there is an impact of those airstrikes. When they started, if you remember, the forces of 8th century fanaticism were only a few miles from Erbil, the capital of the Kurdish region of Iraq. I think that you could at the very least say that the bombing has deterred and stopped the further expansion of ISIS. Has it reclaimed any territory? Has it made the Iraqi security services any less corrupt, any more competent? No, it has not. And so in that respect, it hasn't put them on retreat. But I think it did stop their advances, and it saved the capital of the Kurdish region.
And so what should we do? Should we step up the military presence in that effort? Because a lot of people are saying that that's ultimately what's going to have to happen.
Well, to paraphrase Slim Charles from the HBO drama The Wire, in a conversation he had with Avon Barksdale, the thing about war is when you're in it, you're in it. And so that's the problem, is that the idea that you're going to have only airstrikes and no boots on the ground, as if this is the sort of touchstone of all things that lead to sort of uncontrollable. And by the way, there are boots on the ground because they've sent special operations training forces that are not going to have a combat role. So they're already playing a bit of a deceptive game there. But, at this point, you have to commit the resources and the means to accomplish what the end that you said you wanted to accomplish, which in this case, in Obama's case, it is the destruction of ISIS, even though it doesn't seem like that is what we're doing at this point.
Do you get the sense that is a more palatable option, though, going forward, to put more troops on the ground?
I don't think that it's palatable to sell the kind of occupation that the U.S. was involved with in the last decade, where you had 150,000 troops in Iraq, and you had the United States responsible for every aspect of Iraq's government, its economy, and so forth, that it was interested in a kind of full reconstruction of the country. That is not palatable. But the idea of you said, listen, there are going to be troops on the ground that will be working with the Kurds and other units that we can work with to try to take back territory and really hold it, even though that can be a slippery slope that will get you to the 150,000 scenario. But I think if you said that and you were clear-eyed about it, and it didn't feel like you're going to come back in 2 months and ask for more, and you ask for it all up front, I think that there's a chance that could have bipartisan support and public support. And especially given the fact that, there's a very good chance that these dirtbags are going to behead a 26-year-old aid worker.
Yeah.
There's a very good chance that you're going to see another one of these gruesome and horrible videos. And we already know what they do. They're pure evil. We should feel that. I mean, the idea is also that that in their destruction, that you're doing something, positive for humanity. That's the other thing, is that it's a crisis point because of who these people are, what their poisonous ideology says, and what they do.
Eli Lake, now a columnist at Bloomberg View. Good to have you back with your new gig, and also as a columnist in Bloomberg View. It sounds like you're a little freer to be a less reporter and a little more opinionated, and we love that, Eli.
I still do all my reporting.
Sure, but with the zing that I hope everyone has come to expect. We certainly do. Thank you, Eli Lake. Great to have you.